Hey guys, welcome back to Doozer Shop for another update on the Brown & Sharp 13 cylindrical grinder. We take you over there. Alright. Gonna stand back. I got the table put on, actually the main table and the top table that pivots, and it was a really long table, but I got it hung up over the parts tank and all cleaned off, and all the surface rust is gone, and I lubricated everything, cleaned all the bolts and T-nuts, and she's back on there, and boy does it move ever really smooth. Well, it's in low gear, but it just glides. It's amazing. But the next step is to get the grinding wheel head put back into shape, and that's the next step. Oh boy, I took it all apart because I'll show you guys what I was doing. Let me get around here. My parts tank, you know, I had this long coolant extension hose on there, and I was washing down the whole column assembly as it was assembled, and it was getting it clean, but just not clean enough. I couldn't get, if you go down and go up, there's a spot that you just couldn't reach to clean, and there's all this, that's not necessarily rust, it's just sort of a mixture of oil and nastiness and grit. But I couldn't clean it together, so I took it apart. Yeah, you can see it's all dripping down. I think this machine got left in the rain at one point or something. The ways on this, they're still flaked beautifully. It's just that there's some rust going on and some staining and just some grit and nastiness. So I just couldn't wash it down enough without taking it apart to get all the grit out. I just couldn't, it kept coming grit and grit and grit when I was washing it down in the parts washer, and I had it, this whole base and everything, you know, hanging up inside the parts washer with the chain hoists here, and just trying to wash everything down. So there's the actual piece that came off that goes up and down for the spindle. But I'm gonna clean all this up in the wash tank. Everything's in fine shape, as I said, but I just I'm kind of going around here. You can see just the it's just oil and goo, and it looks like rust, and it's like rust particles. But I mean, if you look in there, you guys can see. I know I don't have a good light source, but there's the oil slots in the front part of the dovetail. It's all full of mung and nasty, you know, grit, I guess, whatever. So, and I took the motor off to make it lighter, and you can see all the basically it's a lot of that rubber dust from those rubber rolls or whatever. And I've been using these nylon straps. They came with, when you buy lumber, a skid of lumber at Home Depot, they come with that, and they've been handy for, you know, the light duty lifting I do here under, you know, 500 pounds or whatever. But yeah, I took the grinding head off the column. Like I say, I was cleaning the heck out of it with the, you know, with the brush hanging over the parts tank here, and well, maybe you can see some of the nastiness. This was a clean sink before I started going on here. And there's the gib, and it's got nastiness all over it. It'll clean off for sure, and I got my steel wool pads to just scrub all the rust and particulates off. But that's the gearbox for the elevation screw, and there's the elevation screw. Screw's in good shape, really good shape. Everything's in good shape. I just I couldn't do a proper cleanup on this grinder unless I took the wheel head apart and got all the schmung out of it. You see, I always wondered. I know that, see, it's got a. Let me hoop up here. You can kind of see down in there and how the dovetail is. But on the top of the elevation head here. You can see, I mean, it's got I took the sheet metal piece off. It's got felt wipers. There's little oil areas there, and it's got felt wipers top and bottom. And but still, I don't know how the grit stays out of there. You know, when this thing is together, if it's on the column, you know that the traveling grinding head goes up and down this column, and there's exposed ways above and below at all times. So I guess it's dust. It's not directly receiving grinding grit, but I mean there's dust flying when this thing is running. Any grinding wheel when it's running. So yeah, I'm gonna show you the bottom. Yeah, that's the felt way cover on the bottom too, and the top one has little oil ports in it. But yeah, I've been just like rinsing this down with mineral spirits, and it just wasn't getting clean enough. And I'm glad I pulled the head because I had these ways clean above and below the traveling grinding head, I guess you call it. And now that I pulled it off and all the schmung is dripping out of it, yeah, I'm convinced this sat outside in a good rain, maybe just once. And somebody, you know, wiped it all down and everything, but it's still just, the water got in there, and this is what happens when you have a machine tool. I'm assuming it was on accident and it was being transported on a trailer or something, and it just got rained on once. But man, you got to tarp this stuff when you guys are moving machines, and you know, I mean, tarp the heck out of it and bungee cord everything so it doesn't flap in the breeze. But anyways, I am not complaining at all. I'm just, I'm so thrilled to have this grinder. I mean, this thing is in such cherry shape, and it'll clean up very easily as I've been going on here. I'll give you guys a little detail of the knobs put together. And when you guys if you got a grinder that you're working on, there's little pins inside there and there, little 1/8 inch dowel pins. And there's a taper pin to get the knob off, and then you got to knock the 1/8 inch dowel pins out, and only then can you unscrew that nut, because I unscrewed the nut and I just sheared the pins because I didn't know they were there. No harm done, but boy oh boy, I wish I would have known. And they just tap out into the bottom of the table. But I got this all working well, and that's to adjust your taper of your grind, or get the taper out of it, or whatever you're trying to do. But I'm going to obviously eventually put a dial indicator here so I can kind of get a better idea. That's a popular thing to do, the dial indicator to tell you where you are. And it's not linear by any means, or the numbers really don't mean anything unless you trig out from the center, but it's a nice feature to have. So, but I just thought I'd give you a quick update of how this is all progressing. And well, there's the cover and the rest of the stuff. Oh, there's the top way cover for the wipers, and it's got little Gits oil cups in there to lubricate the felt. But I'm on the way here. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update of the Brown & Sharp 13 cylindrical and universal grinder. And hopefully somebody's got one of these grinders that they're taking apart also, and this video series can help them, you know, taking stuff apart and cleaning it up or restoring it kind of like I am. So, and I'll give you an after video after I clean everything up, and I'll show you the ways that I cleaned. But the before picture is always good to see the before picture on the condition. But like I said, the ways the flaking is still 100% visible, and this thing is in really good shape. So I have no doubt that it'll clean up, and I'll get my steel wool and I'll hang these components individually over the parts tank. So till the next video, I'll talk to you guys soon.